Hello, Guilders, and welcome into a Sunday stream. I'm Tip of the Wizard. I'm joined by a host of chaotic casters, and I'm very excited to be here. We're looking at a really neat little one shot set in the universe of Sync. Let's go on and dive right on in. I'm joined by the Sesh, Werewolf BF, Mish, and of course Gremlins Are Us. So yeah, let's take a let's. We're really excited to be here, and let's just start off with the lovely chunk of flavor text we got right here in front of us. A darkness stirs in the depths. The inky trenches nestled under the tide hold a secret, the depravity of which few know. A hunger that cannot be quelled grows out of the sight of anyone foolish enough to brave its horrors and stamp out its sway. However, heavy is the head, or in this case, the dead, that carries the burden of being conscripted into a war unlike the Calder Reach Sea has ever seen. Find your way through the deep grotto before the time runs out, or else you might sink. This module offers tabletop fans an adventure filled with ruthless pirates, magic tattoos, and a mysterious dungeon built for 4 third-level characters. To follow the crowdfunding campaign for Sync, our collection of magic item, tattoos, player options, and modular dungeons compatible with 5th edition, check out syncrpg.com or crimsonheraldgames.com, which is pinned in the chat right now. We were taking a look at that earlier. You can go on there, sign up for their Kickstarter newsletter to get notified when their Kickstarter goes live, and a bunch of other cool, fun stuff like what they got coming up. But yeah, Werewolf, why don't you take it away? Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the site?
Hi, y'all. So, actually, just wanted to mention real quick. So, crimsonherald.com is one of the 2 URLs you can use to get to their website, where you can sign up for the newsletter, which is also how you get access to this adventure we're talking about today, as well as some preview character sheets. There's a really cool sea shanty that they produced for this. All that's in a Google Drive you can get if you sign up on the website. But Crimson Herald is the publisher that is releasing Sync. They're doing it in collaboration with Hit Point Press, which people are fairly familiar with, but Crimson Herald is Johnny Stanton, who many people know is the kind of pro NFL player turned Dungeons and Dragons dungeon master, as well as player and AP guy, and just cool now writer, as well as Rick Esquivius, and the third person, the main person on the crew that we know so far. We may see more people when the Kickstarter comes out. I want to give a shout out to Samurai Rusk, a tattoo artist and illustrator. They've done all of the art that's in the adventure. There's art that you're seeing, the 3 little tokens on the screen down here. That's all from Sam. And so, yeah, let's hop into this little adventure. It's very exciting. The book is going to be over 200 pages long, filled with illustrations from Sam Rusk. And it is in a treacherous campaign setting called the Calder Reach Sea, a volcanic archipelago under the influence of a fiendish foe and his warlock pirates. There are 11 plus backgrounds that have been created for this book that are sort of general to piracy, but then also specifically to crew specific things like being a bosun, a quartermaster. There are 10 plus new feats, 30 plus new spells, and 20 plus magic items. And we get to see some of those magic items in this adventure, and there's some cool stuff in there. But there are also modular dungeons that you can run as a full adventure, or this one that we're going to be talking about today has kind of been plucked out and is used as a sort of individual, maybe interstitial adventure. You have a long-running campaign you're running, and you're like, let's be pirates for a couple of months, and you can run one of these dungeons. And there is also a really cool new mechanic that utilizes hit dice as a resource for things other than just HP, which is cool. So that's kind of our broad overview. If you go check out the website, they talk about these things more in depth, as well as preview some of the cool things that are going to be a part of the campaign, like custom miniatures. As someone who's done a lot of Kickstarters, I'm assuming like probably a tier where you could have like the .stls to print them yourselves, or maybe even a few options for buying miniatures. I'm kind of thinking of the Legend of Antris Kickstarter that happened last year. That's kind of what I was thinking about with the minis, what I'm expecting. A deluxe hardcover edition that's like leather bound. It looks gorgeous. And we were talking about it earlier, a coloring book, which love. Tattoos, coloring book, perfect. But yeah, I think we can hop into the adventure. That was just like kind of our brief overview of what the adventure is about. You are pirates of, I believe it's the Merry Mermaid. And you are trying to rid the Calderreach seas of the influence of the dread Admiral Igathul, who's kind of like a eldritch god here in this pirate setting. Party. Time to talk about character stuff, right?
Yeah, that's not, man. It sounds like it's such a large offering too, like a 295 page book. Like that's
Oh, totally.
That's
That's just
great.
like that's a full adventure book, and it does sound cool that it's like you can take it as a whole, or also you like use bits and pieces of it. I think that's great.
and here is the titular Yagothul as well. Man, again, just the art is gorgeous. It works so well.
The artwork is amazing. I'm just going through looking at even some of the illustrations for the items or the tattoos.
Oh, I
They
know.
just
Yeah.
are
They
they're
look
so
really good.
nice.
And
Yeah,
something that I really like, I love a book, and yeah, this book is absolutely gorgeous. Where, yeah, electronic stuff, the PDFs, that's a little bit easier, for me because I'm a tab queen when I have a physical book, and that kind of gets a little annoying. And I love the Control F, but this would definitely be something where this is my collector's item. I ain't creasing this. Like, it's just so pretty.
oh, the green cover, the like
Yes,
special
the
edition.
green color. I
Yeah.
love that.
Down at the bottom, like the very bottom, Timbo, they have the preview of the. Also, real quick, while we're here on the screen, the Captain Grimscar. We'll talk about him later. He's very handsome, but yeah, that this green cover, I'm obsessed with it. It's gorge.
It really is.
Oh, and yeah, before we start talking about specifics of the book, because have all kind of, we're here to do a little bit of a review of this adventure. I will say the Kickstarter is officially launching on September 21st. So yeah, sign up. Make sure you get a notification reminder from their email list that the Kickstarter is launched right here on this screen that Timbo's showing. You just enter your email, reserve your spot, and they'll shoot you an email that has the link to the Google Drive where all the like free assets are.
Man, I really love this. Even the base cover is incredible. Like it
Still
looks,
gorge.
it's such a I love an evocative cover, and I feel like that was one of my favorite things. And even the thing that like kind of drew me into like the 3.5 D&D books, right? Because they looked
Yeah.
so like mysterious and like
They
they
were
made
like
sense.
in world.
Yeah, exactly. And I really love that. I kind of wish I would go back to that aesthetic because, man, and like this feels like it came from the world of Sync, which is so neat. Like I would love to have this like on my shelf. It would be a really cool piece to have. And I love that too about you could just have like a beautiful piece of art set there as well, right?
Yeah.
Well, and the book is just going to be full of art
Right.
from Sam Rusk, and like all the stuff that we've seen so far is gorgeous. I would die to have a tattoo from them. Like it
Oh,
all
yeah.
looks so cool.
Absolutely. All right, yeah, let's go ahead and dive into some of these characters. Oh, sorry. Did you have something you wanted to chime in with?
Oh, I was just gonna say the book looks like it could pull me in and drown me, and I like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I also really like the coloring book.
The coloring book is
Yeah.
so cute. There's
It's
Such a
cute
fun
thing.
idea.
Yeah.
It kind of just really meshes with the setting, I feel like, because it's very, inspired by tattoos,
Mm-hmm.
oh, absolutely.
and it's just like it just sounds like so much fun.
Definitely. And I think, and perfect segue, because speaking of perfect for the setting, these character sheets, oh man, they're so cool.
Yeah.
I really love just the subtle details on them, like with the Mistbreaker Ranger with like the waves crashing and the Fighter Buccaneer with like the sash. Oh man, this is just such good little details. And I feel like these are just at a glance easier to understand and read than your standard character sheet. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes. Something I wanted to point out that I love on character sheets, because I like filling. I don't remember all the time what counts under wisdom and what counts under
Sure.
intelligence. So it's just like animal handling, wisdom, maybe. Like, I guess this is a life skill I picked up. I don't know. So I love how they have that organized. It's super easy to read. And you're able to organize, like, okay, these are my characters' really like strong points. These are the things I'm really good at. These are the things I'm not so good at. So it makes it easier to memorize your stats. Or if you're trying to look it up, boom, it's right there.
yeah, the use
Exactly.
of bolding to represent proficiency is very clever. That's it, because it's very much more eye-catching to be like, oh, I'm good at this thing, right?
Absolutely.
I'll be interested to see. So, we're gonna run through these character sheets, kind of discuss some points real quick. I'll be interested to see if there are other subclasses coming, because we only got these 4, and I will say, all 4 of them I think have some really interesting stuff already, and I'm just interested to see if they've like barbarian. What does that look like? I'm kind of imagining like a barbarian who is ranged and is just carrying a cannon around. I don't know where that idea is coming
Yes.
from. Yeah, like something like that. I don't know.
Just like something absolutely ridiculous. I love barbarians. And so being able to get, like, I can't get in their face. We're on a boat in the middle of the water.
Yeah.
So what is this rage going to look like where I can affect people? Typically where I would be, close up, putting my big meaty hands on somebody. What is this combat going to look like?
Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking like cannon shot barbarian, where you're just launching yourself out of a cannon, like you become the cannonball.
That's also funny.
That'd
Like
be
your body
great.
is a weapon.
Yeah.
So
Or it would be
Or-
like swinging the anchor. That would be badass.
Ooh,
That'd be
that's
cool.
That's sick.
I'm imagining a monk who
Swinging the
is
anchor is so
so just like empowered to traverse rigging to a point where it becomes terrifying.
Oh,
Um,
yes. Like where
but-
you board other ships and you're just in there. You're in their sails. You're in their nets.
My pitch is a feat that I can roll a D100, and if I get under 10, there is a rope that if I cut it, it will take me where I need to go. That's what I'm pitching, Johnny
absolutely.
Stanton. If you're
That's
listening,
great.
that's my pitch for this book. I think it would
really
be fun. Listen, that's a free one. Take that one and go.
I love that. Honestly, for as often as that happens in pirate movies, I don't want it to be a D100 like at all. I just want it to maybe like a basic luck check or something like that. Or or maybe you have something that kind of pushes it in your favor for it to happen.
Well, one of the things is the soul link, where you can use hit die for things. Maybe that's one of your soul link things. You can use a hit die to cut a rope and just fly anywhere in the scene.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Soul Link real quick and Sunken, because I think those have to do with characters, and there's some of the
Sure.
things that
Yeah.
make like this setting, some of them like really really compelling in my opinion. So when so Sunken is a condition that you can have, where if you have 0 hit die when you drop to 0 hit points, you are dead outright. You do not fall unconscious, and you do not make death saves. You are just dead. And hit dice themselves are have a new mechanic associated with them called Soul Link, where I'm just going to read it directly. Offers a unique mechanic known as Soul Link, in effect, forcing players to manage their hit dice as well as their hit points as a resource representing their life force. Soul Link represents a sunken character's tethered to their world, and in turn, the living world. While playing in the world of Sync, certain traps, monsters, and effects drain a character's pool of hit dice. It is up to the player to make choices that protect this resource from the obstacles placed before them in Sync, such as the Ring of Requited Suffering, magic item, or Captain Grimscar's Rend Essence ability. And I love that, like, having this extra, like, meta level ability that is like a direct in narrative, has a direct tie to something as important as like your life force in this, and clearly in this setting where life force is very valuable and it's trying to be sapped and drained away. So that's so compelling.
Well, and the other thing about it is, for as long as there's kind of been D&D, I feel like there have been discussions about Constitution as a resource, or like hit points and Constitution more as a like usable resource other than just tracking whether you're alive or dead. And there's like so many ways that people have done this differently, of like the Blood Hunter class, you are taking out hit points so you can have more empowered attacks and stuff like that. And I think this is like a different take on that I think is really interesting, of like hit dice almost feel like something that in vanilla D&D is almost like untouchable from the GM side, of like the players will deal with their hit dice. There's nothing I do that interacts with that. And so I think it's interesting to have some interplay there.
I know what you mean, because it does definitely feel like hit dice as a mechanical conceit are very much, this is a thing that the player uses and this is their resource, right? So making them choose between that and like healing and another difficult choice that's really interesting.
But we're gonna move into these character sheets. We're gonna kind of skim through them. We don't have the actual class information, just the sample sheets that they've provided. But first up, we have the Mistbreaker Ranger. And I can talk a little bit about this one, but the base subclass ability is you can create magical ethereal harpoons. And when you hit a creature with them, you tether them. And you can have 2 active tethers at a time. I'm wondering if that scales as you level up, but you start out with being able to hold 2 at a time. And there are different things you can do. So tethered creatures will like take more damage. There are later things you can do. This tidal bond storm effect that's on the sheet, where you force them to make a save or take lightning damage. And what I love about this, and I was like talking to the group earlier, is it's kind of like a very Battlefield Control take on a ranger. Because you have the Hunter's Mark, you have these tethers, and you also have Fog Cloud, which with the Mistbreaker kind of title, I'm just imagining like a ranger hiding up in the rigging, dropping Fog Cloud on a group, and then just taking people out with these magical harpoons. That sounds so badass.
No, that sounds so sick. I mean, I can even just imagine it being like throwing the Fog Cloud on the ship, and it's like a ghostly fog to come in, and then just all of a sudden, harpoon.
Oh, terrifying. That's a perfect pirate move.
Oh no, yeah. No,
pirate movie moment where the fog comes in and then people just start getting ripped off the ship. Perfect.
Yeah.
And I love, because like mechanically you have these tethers that are attached to them, right? But like that narratively can be so much fun. Like I can think of so many fun and cool things that you can do, like being able to throw harpoons that become like attach points, like that you could just my brain is already like ticking away. Like, man, you could do so many cool things with that. Like that's a lot of fun.
Something else I like thinking about, just kind of going back to the tethers, since they're ethereal, but they can still be attacked, is just like the combo moves you can do. Like, let's just like you can basically kind of use it like a hook shot. So let's say you do have a monk on board or somebody with good balance. If we're boarding another ship or if we're fighting something, you could throw this tether and then have your teammate run across it, do some damage, repositioning it. Like, there's so many things you can do with, just this. I really like that. I think it'd be really fun to play with and do combo moves with.
Yeah.
That is
That would also
interesting.
be so terrifying.
Yeah,
Just being
that's so
impaled by a
cool.
harpoon and then seeing someone run across
Like
the
a
wire
monk?
at you.
Yeah, it's like, all right, well, this is how I die.
That'd be so
This
cool.
is the end. So actually, what we're gonna do here on the channel, we're just gonna actually be evil pirates.
Yeah.
We will be boarding vessels and we will be taking people out.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum, I say.
Exactly.
Yeah, again, like, because I'm a big fan of when a thing in like a tabletop game gives you something that is not just a one-use thing, right? Like, it can impact multiple things. You can use it for a lot of different concepts and ideas and stuff. And this is imagination driving for sure, right?
Absolutely. Does someone want to talk a little bit about the Buccaneer subclass?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about it. So with the Buccaneer subclass, you gain the ability to overwhelm your opponent from all angles. When you use your action to attack with a one-handed weapon, you can make an additional attack with a ranged weapon you're holding, or reload a ranged weapon with the loading property. Neat. So it's so like
Sword and gun.
yeah.
And it's funny because when I first saw this character sheet, I'm an ADHD reader. I jumped to the bottom and didn't read what the base ability was, and I was like, "Why does a Buccaneer have archery?" And then I went back and I was like, "Oh, this actually makes a lot of sense."
Yeah, that's really cool.
I love that. And just like using your actions, like, this is crazy. It would be even better, especially since I know ranged weapons, yeah, blah blah blah. But I mean, give me a Bunderbless, like give
Oh,
me
yeah.
there's no way. You know what I mean? Like, give me a sawed-off Bunderbless. So yeah, we're sword fighting. I block your sword with my sword. Here comes my big gun with the megaphone on the end. Like, there's nothing you can do.
Oh, that's real good.
Let's see.
I mean, I think that's one of the things too with Fighter is that, like, Fighter makes the most sense to give it like just a strong ability that is easy to understand and be like, I can just 100% see how this would be effective, like, immediately, right? Like, you have 3 attacks at third level. That's extremely good.
That's wild. And push. Yeah, I'm interested to see where else this goes because it does feel real. Like, it does feel very inspired by the genre, and I'm curious. Like, there are certain things that I think of. Obviously, we were kind of joking about it, but the cutting the rope, that kind of feels like maybe it might show up in the Buccaneer, or obviously, one of the biggest touchstones I'm thinking for is Jack Sparrow, and whatever. But I'm also like, it would be funny if there was something about being like very good at being clumsy, kind of like the Drunken Master monk subclass of like someone missed you because you're clumsy, and so you were able to like get an extra hit on them or something. Like, I know that's not what the ability. It's something around there, but I think there could be something fun there. I'm curious to see
Give
where
yourself
it goes.
+2 AC when you're drunk.
Exactly.
I love that because I mean, there is that Drunken Sailor sea shanty that like almost everyone knows, so that would be a really cute play on it. I mean, they do have the Drunken Fist Monk, but I feel like this would be taking it to another level or even potentially building on it. Like, maybe you have something that's like Sea Legs, where if something does happen, because I feel like you can do a lot of, what would you call it? Like, when something happens to the map.
Yeah. Like
You get what I
environment-
Like an
mean?
area of effect.
Environmental, yeah,
Oh
environmental.
yeah.
Yeah, so you can do different
That
stuff
would
like
be
that if
interesting.
someone is, trying to we're being overrun. Let me, hard to port or starboard. You have saves on, keeping your sea legs because you're drunk as hell, you're tipping and turbing all over the place anyway, so you're fine.
The next one is a bard subclass that's kind of inspired by sirens a little bit. Would someone want to hop on that one?
Oh, I would love to if
Hell
nobody
yeah,
else.
Grams.
I love the Tide Song Bard, mainly for the sea shanty ability.
It's so cool.
It's using a bardic inspiration to give you and two of your allies one free advantage per round is pretty darn good. But I love how it's balanced that in the way that you lead the shanty as if you were concentrating on a spell,
hmm
which, it gives a lot of benefit, but it also has some drawbacks because then, you're seeing your sea shanty and then the enemy is like, you know what, I'm done with you. And just
It feels so Sea of Thieves to have a bard who is kind of based around pirates and being like, okay, we're in the middle of a fight. I am starting a shanty right now. Pull out your castanet.
exactly. I want to do that.
No, I
I
love
wanna
this
do that.
absolutely because it is very much like you are a bard and you start singing to the enemies, right? And I have always loved that vibe, and it has never. I don't think there is any other subclass in D&D 5e that has just straight up an ability where it is you perform at them in combat, right? I know that the charming one has one, but usually
Yeah,
that's kind of
counter-charm.
but that's an out of combat one where you're you have a minute of you're doing a beguiling dance, right?
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So having a thing in a actual ability that is you perform and that gives you direct impact on your friends and allies, and I love that. I think that that's really cool, and I'm actually thinking about it. I can't think of another one where you're just I am performing right now and my friends are getting benefited from this.
Well, there is the counter charm, but I mean, I'll be honest. I have maybe only had counter charm be helpful once. I love it dearly as a bard thing, but I have some problems with it. I think that was one of the things that's kind of getting nerfed or not nerfed, but reworked in the 2024 rules. But we're not going to get into that right now. The last thing I want to touch on, because I think it's very funny, is a bard who does sea shanties having shatter. That's delicious to me.
That is always a really fun thing. It feels like a real heavy metal moment,
Oh, and I'm sorry, I skipped one of the subclasses. Our last subclass to talk about is the spell skin. Drew, can you talk about this one a little bit?
Yeah, I mean the spell skin's already kind of as a wizard.
Self-explanatory.
Yeah, the living spell book, just having your spells be tattoos. I just already is such a fun idea. Just having all these different tattoos on your body that are actually just casting the magic through, and then also being able to put these tattoos on at least two of your compatriots a day. Yeah, the Rune Weaver lets you put a spell, says it must be at least a first level spell, onto the skin of one of your compatriots, and you can activate that 2 each day. So I mean,
does it use your spell slot, or is it just you get 2 of these? Yeah, you just get 2 of these. That's awesome. It
Seems
doesn't
like you
even
just get 2. Yeah.
it's every day you get to refresh a ring of spell storing for your companions. That's so great.
That's excellent. That just being able to be here, have a shield.
It also makes so much sense. So, I mean, we've touched on this briefly, but the two keystones are pirates, obviously, and tattoos. And I think this is such a natural progression to have a wizard with like a tattoo spell book, which isn't necessarily supported in vanilla D&D, but it's like in this setting, this question would come up naturally, and they've like preempted that. So I think that's great. Yeah, these
Right.
subclasses.
No, absolutely, because that makes so much sense, right? It's just it's such a natural progression that you would combine A and B, right?
Yeah.
I feel like so it feels like these 4 character sheets, we get a lot from the ranger, the wizard, and the bard. I'm really interested to see what happens with the buccaneer. That's kind of like the biggest question for me about these, you know?
I think I'm on the same page as you. I really want to see what else you unlock, because there's gotta be something hidden in there.
Yeah.
Because
Like
like
gym.
right now I'm like, there are 3. If I were to play in the Deep Grotto right now, I think there are 3 character sheets that I would be like, okay, so I'm choosing between these 3. And I'm not, not to dig on fighters, but the 3 attacks in a turn is awesome. But I'm interested to see more.
I am too. It would be really, I mean, of course, that action surge, like you can, build up hits, you can do a lot of damage, but it would be really cool to see what else, the Buccaneer can do, because very few people on the ship aren't going to be fighting. I mean, you're at sea.
Mhm.
It's already rough. Everyone's gonna be, like throwing hands. Give No Quarter is really fun, where you can use the one-handed weapon and the ranged, but I mean, are you getting an additional kind of like bonus action where maybe you can try to kick and, make them lose their footing on the slippery deck, something like that.
That's a really great point. Like, it's great to be able to have, but like texturally, they're talking about overwhelming your enemy. And I mean, the 2 attacks is like a good show of that. But is there anything else about really like it feels like you're fighting more than one person?
Yeah. Like, can you prevent them from disengaging, maybe? Is there something else you can
Ooh.
tack onto it? So it's like you're giving them your full attention, or you can, I mean, obviously you can juggle hits, but what else are we getting from it? What else can I do as a Buccaneer?
I did very much like that idea of environmental control, because it feels like a Buccaneer, like a fighting on the sea, is their favored terrain, right? Like that should be where they sing, right? So like was mentioned, having sea legs and not having to worry about difficult terrain, I think that's really cool. And like the idea of like not like being like I also had this like idea of like, like it's a very classic moment in pirate movies where like stuff gets dumped on the deck and things are very slippery all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
And the Buccaneer is immune to that, right?
Yeah. Or being tossed back at like a big storm, because like it's your that's where you sleep. That's how you get through the day.
Oh my god. What if, okay. So not an actual familiar, so this is I would love to see a cabin boy.
I would
love to see a cabin boy, but
Yeah.
it's not an actual like humanoid child for obvious reasons. It's just, maybe some sort of specter or something that you have, or like a little sidekick you have on the ship that comes with the ship. You have a cabin boy. That would be so fun.
I'm trying to think what subclass would be cabin boy for what main class.
Well, it would probably be a background, because we are getting a bunch of crew specific ones. I think that I could see that being very likely, of like maybe your background helps you with like stealthing and that kind of stuff, but you just aren't. It doesn't really offer anything in terms of like vehicle proficiency, water, anything like that. You're just like a guy on a boat.
I do love the idea of like, man, with the backgrounds being like, yeah, I'm like a cabin boy. I'm like really fresh faced. I've been on the sea for like maybe 2 months, and I'm a barbarian.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
Well, with where we are now, I think we're going to hop into talking about adventure stuff. Before we just kind of start doing a scroll through, a flip through, is there anything people want to talk about kind of as an intro? Things to look out for as we're kind of passing through.
I think the hooks, whenever we're scrolling through, I definitely want to. I mean, we're probably going to already, but we're going
Yeah,
to touch on the hooks. Something that I
cool.
really like about this type of setting is, I mean, old sailors, they know these tales and there are cursed things out on the sea. So, I really like them playing into that. And you're out here, you're about to see all the weird shit.
Hell yeah.
I do like how they separate out in these boxes what text is for the game master to read aloud. It's very
Yeah.
very poppy without being like obtrusive, if that makes any sense.
Well, and that's part of the thing I want to say as a note is like so much of the book is or this like adventure is geared towards like easy to read, easy to identify stuff. Here's what you do in this exact situation. Like I think it's a very you don't need to be a super advanced GM to run this one-shot adventure, which I appreciate. And like Grimm's mentioned, what the text blocks or setting text, whatever you want to call it, the little blurbs for GMs to read have been highlighted in yellow with these yellow ropes around it. They have blue text for word marking, but also red text means different things. And yeah, we'll talk more about accessibility at the end. But Timbo, Druid, is there anything else that you're excited for us to talk about when we do a scroll through?
I really like just the way that for example, I'm at the section with the Hound, which has the lyrics, the way that it is just so like, again, tone setting, and it really gives you the a good sense of like what the adventure is trying to like achieve, right?
Mm.
Honestly, the magic like items and tattoos are just so well illustrated. They're just they look really cool. Like I would feel like adding some of this just to my games in general
Oh
because
yeah.
these look just so fun.
So we're going to hop into talking about this adventure. What is it actually about, this one shot? This is about an evil warlock pirate named Grimscar, who is trying to go to a temple known as the Deep Grotto. It's kind of an intermediary between this life and the next. And so like dead souls come to the Deep Grotto, and instead of being able to go on, Brimscar sweeps them up and they get put into the armada of Igathul, this elder god. And your party members are all crewmates of the Misty Mermaid. It is a ship that is traveling together, and you have all been. Well, actually, we'll get into it, but after the adventure hooks, where you like kind of start investigating things, your crew gets intercepted by Grimscar's ship, the Hades Hound, and you get attacked, and you take on the very special new sunken condition. So we're gonna hop into talking about this adventure. That's kind of the basic idea. They suggest that you use the subclasses that we talked about, the 4 subclasses. You use those character sheets, and they can also start with one of the 4 magic item tattoos that are listed at the back of the adventure. So let's hop into it. The adventure hooks and this little shanty.
Hell yeah. Mish, do you want to talk about the adventure hooks since you mentioned those earlier?
Sure. One that I really like is Filgra and her sea gnomes because, God, I would love to play a sea gnome. Please, 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 please. I hope that's one of these races.
God, me too.
But yeah, help the sea gnomes. Filgra and her fellow sea gnomes are being unhoused by Captain Grimscar's reign of terror on the seas. Stop the threat from destroying any more ships, and Filgra might take up residence on your ship to bring you some luck. So I love that. Not just you're doing a good thing, but you're also getting help from it. I wonder if this is kind of like destruction of coral reefs type of things, because there's like, I just got so excited.
Oh,
Yes, that's
wow,
where my
yeah.
brain went whenever I was thinking sea gnomes. Like, okay, we're living in the coral. It's cute. It's beautiful. It's bioluminescent. I'm on the anemone. You know, I love sea stuff. So, like, that just kind of made my brain spin. So I was very excited about that one. Save the souls. Your soul was spared, but your loved one's souls are in danger. That's a great character thread. Stop Captain Grimscar from delivering their spirit to Yagathul before they hurt anyone else. Like, I love that the implication that you would be, because they're part of the army now, you would potentially be fighting your loved ones. There's not just a great character hook in there, but some, like, you can get a good character arc out of it, some backstory. I think that would be really fun. And Chart the Seas, an old cartographer, charges you to find the Phantom Isle of Journey's End, heard only a legend. He promises to pay well, but does he truly want the island discovered, or is he sending you to your doom? Classic horror story, go ye no further, blah blah blah. Like, can we really trust this guy? Is he good for it? Do we know if he actually has gold? Maybe his gold is cursed. Who knows? I love that. So you just have this person that you maybe can't really trust with you. Are they in your best interest, or is this just a long con?
Are they a
love that.
warlock of Igathul that you don't know about?
Exactly.
Could be fun.
Let's go into this jagged cave. Your ship will make it. I know the way. Don't worry about it.
It's deep enough water, I promise. No, I promise. There are not sunken ships all throughout this cove.
Don't look at it. Yeah.
Um,
The mist. Oh, this mist is always here. Don't worry about it.
no, it's red. That's what happens here.
An hour later, oh wow, we still have half the boat left. That's really lucky. Normally, I don't have
That's
any.
Yeah.
surprising. There's also a shanty on this page, which Timbo mentioned, kind of as a tone setting thing. In the Google Drive that you get access to when you sign up for the email list, there is like a fully produced recording of this sea shanty. Not only just the music, but there's like kind of sound setting too. It's very, very cool.
It's very pretty. Honestly, like I feel like playing it at this offset or the start of like a tabletop game just to set the tone, man, that would be really good. Because I'm a big fan of like music and ambiance and stuff like that during games. So man, I feel like that'd be really cool. And then you could have like a fucking sound of waves crashing in the background and like seagulls and stuff, like, and played at the same time. Like, man, that'd be really cool. That'd be neat.
A real quick sidestep. This is just a GM tip for everyone who's listening. The coolest thing you can possibly do is have a theme song for your campaign. Doesn't matter what setting it is, what game it is, any of that. There are a couple of us in a Delta Green game that's run by our friend Illithid, and every single session starts with this same song. It's like a sort of creepy instrumental sort of thing, and it's like as soon as it turns on, everyone snaps into like attention, and we're all like ready to lock in. And it is like 100% what Timbo just said. Take that and run. If you are running this adventure, I think that shanty is a perfect way to start off your sessions.
Oh man, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
was
Illithid. I
amazing
didn't see you in
listening
chat.
to it.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, ew.
Damn, get loved on.
Yeah, get loved on, nerd.
Good.
Next up, they bring you into some prologue, which is where your crew gets attacked by the Hades Hound. Essentially, this is more of a described fight, and less of one that you are experiencing, just for expediency's sake. But you get washed ashore with the sunken condition outside of the deep grotto, which, if you scroll down a little bit, Timbo, we have a battle map of the deep grotto. There's also a full-size version of this map in the Google Drive as well. But the Deep Grotto is a long-forgotten temple dedicated to the deity known as Davy Jones. It rests on the Isle of Journey's End. Its halls, once filled with vibrant coral and reverence to the sea and the passage of souls, now echo with the sinister presence of Igathul, a powerful devil. Captain Grimstar, a notorious warlock and servant of Igathul, has made the temple his stronghold, exchanging souls to dark forces that aid him in his quest for power. And running this adventure, to fulfill the mission in Deep Grotto, the adventurers must unlock the doors to the sanctuary by solving the puzzle in the other chambers. Once unlocked, they must defeat Grimscar, his familiars, and the sinister statue of Igathul before their souls are consumed. And we got some good dungeony stuff going on. It's a mini dungeon, but I think it's something that, like, obviously this was intended to be run on free RPG day. But I think you could probably split this into like a 2 or 3 session one shot, I think, because there are multiple fights and that kind of thing. But yeah, we have all of our good dungeon info here as we're scrolling down.
And just the way
There
that this is
is-
organized is great, because just at the top, like at the very top, telling you all the information about the features of the cave in a place that's really easy to find is really nice, because I can't tell you how many times I've had to look through an adventure to be like, okay, what is like the generic like qualities of this
Vibe.
room, right? Like, what is the stone tiling like? How tall are the ceilings generally, right? So having that kind of stuff at the front, at the offset, really, really helpful.
I'm seeing one of the most. I'm looking at one of the most interesting, and I think just incredibly realistic dungeon features I've ever seen, which is jagged walls. Anytime a creature is pushed into jagged walls, they take 1d4 piercing damage. If you fuck around in a cave, you are gonna get hurt. Period.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll even get tetanus.
That's
I
so
mean, you're
good.
on the seas. You definitely haven't had your shot. So
You probably have scurvy. Let's talk
you
about it.
100%
Undoubtedly.
scary. Yeah.
But they describe some of the runes. They also describe a puzzle and trap if you do not solve the puzzle correctly. And luckily for the players, this is not a trap that will drain your soul link. However, there are other things throughout the dungeon that can affect your soul link dice. And going to keep on moving on because we're, I think, getting close to wrapping up. But reading real quick, the sanctuary, letter D. The room before you stretches into darkness, lit only by a few flickering candles to reflect the broken glass vials scattered on the floor. A towering stone statue, a figure with goat-like horns and squid tentacles replacing its jaw, dominates the room. The idol's 3 eyes stare through the hollow place where your soul used to be, with a dull red glow. Grimscar steps out from behind the statue carrying 4 vials in hand, gesturing to them. Avast, ye be sunken now. That be making sense. Your souls shan't be moving on to the Deep One's domains while ye walk this blasted isle, but old Grimscar shan't be worrying. The Admiral will have the final word. And then let's take a moment. This man is so hot. Thank
I
you
was
for
looking at
bringing
his
this up,
cheek.
Timbo.
Yeah,
welcome.
Yeah, the cheekbones.
You know what's up.
Yeah. And I like that even though he's missing half of his chin, the rest of his braided little beard is like completely intact. He couldn't give that up. He was like, listen, baby, I love you. The demon stuff is great. I have to
need
have.
my
You already took
beard."
half my mustache. You already took half my mustache. I need the rest of my beard.
Yeah. So you get through this great fight. We see on the next page is this statue of Igathul, which is where the lair actions happen because he's kind of like channeling some power through his statue. So there's more cool stuff that can happen with your soul link in this room. And that's the end of the adventure, is trying to take out Grimscar. I'm kind of speeding through that last bit because I would love for us to go look at some of the magic items and tattoos.
Yes.
Because these are all very promising for kind of the rest of the stuff happening in the book. Because I think there's like 50 magical tattoos in this book.
Wow.
Absolutely amazing.
But
Again,
yeah.
just beautiful art. Just absolutely gorgeous. Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
look at the eel. It's amazing. I love just
Yeah.
all this design that's coming through with these tattoos.
Yeah, we just have some really cool. Let's see, I'm skipping over it. Oh yeah, and then Timbo's looking over at these tattoos right now. There are 5 tattoos here. When you do this one-shot adventure, you get to. I'm sorry, there are only 4. When you do the one-shot adventure, you get to pick one of these 4, and they all have like cool things. It's like the classic magic tattoos that are in D&D already. They are an attunement item that is a needle that when you touch it to your skin and attune, the needle sort of turns into ink that imbibes itself in your skin. And yeah, they just look really cool.
yeah, I love this flicker tattoo. I think that's a really cool little, just such a nice little buff, and that's so neat. And Assassin's tattoo is so thematic and flavorful. Like,
God, that's tattoo is so cool.
yeah, that one's really neat.
That concealed carry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like these tattoos might be like, there was some stuff in there that looks like they might be possibly upgradable or something, or like multiple effects. I don't know. We only have what we have now, but there are some things in all the documents that kind of point to what might be coming down the path. But I think we'll sort of stop talking about this adventure and just like final vibes. How are we all feeling about this? I know I'm excited. I'm definitely backing this Kickstarter.
God, I just love pirate campaigns, and this all looks
Yeah.
just so fun. And I feel like you could run this so easily.
Yeah. Something I love the vibe of it. I love just I'm so excited. I love cursed items, and I love just like the like, oh, don't go in there, don't do this. Oh, but this is a really kick-ass sword. I don't know, or this ring is really great. I'm hubris. Play this with hubris. Get cursed items. I'm so excited to see what other items they have.
Hubris is going to be a good theme for this campaign for sure.
Mhm.
I will say, and I'm kind of, this is a little bit of review. I'm at this point, I am issuing a challenge for this Kickstarter team. If you're having a book about pirates in D&D, I'm really hoping that you guys have some sort of like ship combat, ship movement. Obviously there are like all the different backgrounds, which feels promising already. That like, you're not just a crewmate, you are the navigator or the person who is in charge of rigging. Like, that's already exciting, but I'm really hoping that like ship combat in D&D is tough. I'm hoping for something in this book.
Yes, definitely. I think that would be an excellent facet to add. overall, I'm really digging the vibe. I'm really excited to see more and hear more about what they're thinking and planning. I mean, just even like Mish said, I think Mish was exceptionally on point by mentioning the character or the adventure hooks at the beginning. Like, Save the Souls is such an excellent hook because it is so like it is titular D&D in the sense that there is other stuff going on in the world that you are not privy to necessarily, and the world is ticking along while you're doing stuff. And I think that that's a really cool and interesting vibe to be like, I can't just be resting on my laurels necessarily. And then Chart the Seas is just, again, very titular, is titular, but in pirate fiction, right? Where you're just like, there is a legendary treasure on a Phantom Island. Go find that. Like, and that in and of itself is also awesome. Like that, you've got me. I'm there. I'll definitely go, old man. Tell me where to go. You know, like. So I'm very much into the vibe that they're putting out, and I'm excited to see more because it very much feels like they are really understanding like what kind of thing that they're going for. And I'm very big into genre emulation when it comes to tabletop stuff. So it feels like they're on a really good track.
I think that's kind of the thing with like this sort of quick start for games or adventures. Like I feel, even especially in this case, because I think they've done such a good job, there is almost a like not to be that guy, it's kind of the cave where like this is the shadow on the wall, and there are so many. I think this one shot really sets up a lot of things that could be just knocking it out of the park. And I'm curious to see, since I think this is Crimson Herald's like debut adventure, I'm really excited to see how it turns out.
Hell yeah. Grims, how are you feeling about it?
I love the vibes. I see a lot of potential, especially with the different abilities and the subclasses and the spells, and how they might be a little bit different, just to clarify stuff for ship combat, especially spells like, say, Fireball and stuff like that. Like if there's different. Also, I want a parrot. Can we have a parrot familiar? Please let me have a parrot familiar, and I want it to be very sassy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they need for Pact of the Chain Warlock, they need like demonic parrot or something like that, right? Like,
oh my god, I'm just imagining a Pact of the Chain Warlock, and just everywhere they're constantly, you just hear their sea shanty, which is in fact Fleetwood Mac's The Chain. Druid, any last thoughts before we close it out?
No. I'm really excited for all of this.
Oh, rad. Well, just a reminder, Sync RPG, the link is up in the chat. It's pinned. The Kickstarter is launching on September 19th. If you go to syncrpg.com or get.syncrpg.com, you can sign up for their email notification list, which is also how you get access to this cool adventure. So I would definitely check it out.
Hell yeah! Again, it was just a lot of fun to look at. I might get my hand at running this. I probably would be able to run this in like a little afternoon. It looks like a fun one. I highly recommend you check it out. As we're also eloquently put, check out the website that's pinned in the chat. But yeah, thank you again to all my friends, all the Chaotic Casters, for joining us today. We're going to go ahead and raid on out, but thank you again, and make sure to check out Sync. It's coming real soon. Until next time, don't forget to stay magical. We'll see you. We got Baldur's Gate coming up this week, Wednesday, and this is going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, thanks again, everybody, for being here. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
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 Bye.